People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now I've reviewed the game and offered my player ratings at this point, or the video should be out, but I just want to talk about the game a bit more now. For me, it's wonderful what football is and what football does, and it shows the many emotions in football. The ecstasy of going behind and coming back in the game, the sorrow of eventually losing it, and all the other feelings in between. The game had everything. At the end of the day, credit to Liverpool and their young players. I feel both sets of young players have a lot to learn from this game. For Liverpool, at times, their young players saw the consequences which you don't necessarily see at 23's level with giving the ball away. With, like you saw with Van den Berg in defence for a couple of times, like you saw with Harvey Elliott, who they both had good games, but at 23's level, you can give a ball away and another team don't count. It doesn't matter. But in front of however many thousand people in that stadium, you do that. Do you get it? If this is Premier League, certain other circumstances. So I think there's stuff that Liverpool could have learnt from. Obviously, character to the temperament to go behind and not panic, and the desire to come from behind. And I feel half-time is what I would look for if I was a young player, would take the most away from this game, people. For instance, Arsenal, we had a 2-goal lead just before that penalty went in from Milner. For Liverpool, I'd love to see what was said at half-time by their young players and the experienced players to the young players, or just how the young players felt. For Arsenal, I'd like to say the same for the young players, because for Liverpool, it's a case of we can come back. For us, it's a case of, at that point in time, not panicking, people, because I did think, and they clearly know, we need to score more, because for obvious reasons, we can't hold a clean sheet. But it's not about forcing it. If you force it, things happen. If you get scared of Anfield and at Liverpool, things happen. So I feel it was a good game, and credit to Liverpool and their young players. And it's nice to see Curtis Jones, who I'm always banging on about, come on and score the winning penalty, as much as I can say it as an Arsenal fan, because it's good for them young players. But from an Arsenal perspective, I feel our defence, or our attitude to defending, again let us down, whether we made rotations or not, whether it's the Carabao Cup or the Europa League. I was just about to say Champions League. You've got to do things proper. I felt EMERY'S kind of cost us the game, really. I feel taking off Torreira and Ozil, there was no real need to take them off. I felt Guendouzi was cool. I actually felt Joe could have came off, to be fair with you. I know he scored, but I felt Joe started to look tired, as did young XHAKA, really and truly. If you believe Ozil did them, fair enough, but I felt they could have potentially stayed on the field. I don't feel we lost it because of them. I felt there was that, obviously. Multiple players had chances we could have scored. Martinelli could have had 3-4. No criticism to him, because he was the best, if not him or Ozil, give or take, best Arsenal players. But we shot ourselves in the foot with poor defending, really and truly. In fact, Liverpool did as well. That'd be criticism for them to improve. But the first goal, people, and I mean, it comes out of nothing, man. Really, Liverpool lad has it here. Ox starts his run from here, people, or something like that. I can't remember the Liverpool lad, but Ox starts his run in from deep. What I always bang on about, midfield runners. We've seen that. Go and watch the games at home and away last season, midfield runners. And I know Joe and Torreira, they didn't play bad today and they both scored. But I have to say, Torreira, there was runners off you as well. We'll get on to Holding and Mustafi as well. But midfield runners. Ox starts his run from here. Now, Joe clocks it, but it's like he kind of clocks it, and he puts his hand out like that. Joe's got to realise, nah, you can't rely on someone else to do that this time. You've got to be the guy to follow Ox, innit? You've got to follow Ox. You can't expect someone behind you. You've got to follow Ox. Now, we've not spoken about him, but Kolasnic is caught. Kolasnic should be here. That would allow, if anything, Joe to double up and these centre-halves to stay where they were, people. But he wasn't. The ball come in, and he wasn't there. So Joe's gone to try and stop him, but then it's too late. Obviously, Holding's come across and he's pulled. Brewster and whatnot's there with Mustafi. The ball's come in, and just by putting pressure on Mustafi, Brewster's kind of unnerved Mustafi more so than already, because he's going with the wrong foot. It's just not a convincing clearance, and it's not really a surprise that it's an on goal by one of the most usual suspects at these crime scenes. When there's a defensive gaff, Mustafi is a serious suspect, and is someone that if you was a policeman, which not me, with that, he would be picked up and booked into the county or the nearest police station, people. It's a poor goal to concede, really and truly. So there's that goal. Obviously, from an Arsenal perspective, I like to see some positives. Our pressing, Mesut Ozil, Maitland-Niles worked hard. Gabriel Martinelli, Gabby, lovely movement and lovely goals. But we were poor in many incidences, people, man, many incidences. And I want to speak about the Ox goal for just for one reason. Now, Ox's goal was a banger, people. Take nothing away, and nothing away from Ox. But the ball comes in now, people. The ball comes in. It's a poor initial header from Holding. Now, Holding did that quite a lot, people. Holding did them poor headers quite a lot. It's a poor initial ball header from Holding into a dangerous area, which he does do frequently and did do. Now, obviously, Maitland-Niles is too casual. His pocket is depossessed and it's smashed in. Ox celebrating and, well, he held his celebration. But it was a poor goal to concede. And just on a general note, what I weren't happy with today, I felt these guys were not aware of the striker behind them, people. They were just not aware. Kolasnic was just terrible in his own, and I'm not going to harp on about him. But as a centre-half pairing, you've got to, when you're marking on your shoulders, you've got to be able to be aware of where that striker is. And a couple of times, Origi's peeling off, and he's not aware. And I felt it was too easy for him to work a number on us, people. There was one goal, I can't remember which one, whatever goal where he controlled it and then stroked it home. We're not marking properly, people. It's like half marking. He makes a run and he checks back. The ball falls to him and he smashes it in. His goal to make it 5-5 is even more concerning, people, because we're in our box. He's like here. In fact, let me not lie, because it was Bellerin. It's like he was nearest to Bellerin. Or was it Mustafi? I can't remember each one, people. I think it was Bellerin. There was one where it was Mustafi, like 2 minutes before they scored that goal. There's one before Mustafi. Now it's about 5 passes. The ball comes in, people. And what's concerning is, while that's coming in, I've been there as a fullback. Bellerin is looking at the ball and you're looking at the man, people. It's difficult. He either has to call someone to drop in or there isn't much he can do. So it leads me to wonder who is given the task of marking Origi in incidences if we're not doing zonal. He loses. It's like he has it under control because he looks at the ball and he has the man. But like you've seen, you turn around once and your man's not there, it's a goal. So it was poor, people. I feel the way we just marshalled our back line today, I felt we were just poor. I feel Holding and Mustafi, they're too far apart. And people were able to exploit that. On top of Kolasnic being caught up there. Harvey Elliott had the acres of space. And so did Nico Williams or whatever his name is, people. It was really some poor goals that we conceded. I feel the reason we lost today, when all said and done, and I get over the shock of the goals conceded, was defensively. Again, I can't really show it to you, but I do think Martinez potentially could have done better for the couple of the goals. So I do think it was a case of potentially substitutions with Torreira and Ozil coming off. And also, more so the experienced individuals, or if not by age, by how games playing, or definitely in comparison to some of your peers, let us down. Specifically the defence. I felt the defence let us down big time today. But all of the day's life of an Arsenal fan, man. There's not much more to say on that front. People, I'm out. Deluded.